You can have the best product on the market, but if you don't know who you're selling to, they're not gonna buy it. In today's video, let's talk about why it's important to identify your target audience. First, let's make sure that we're all on the same page about the term target audience and how you can make sure that you are communicating properly to yours. Because what happens if you're not communicating properly to your target audience is, well, it's not pretty. And if you do it the right way, it will lead to infinitely more sales. And then let's talk about the routine you can implement into your business to reevaluate and even pivot in your messaging to always be adapting as your audience grows. So your target audience is the specific group of people that you want to reach with your message. One of the things that we did at my company at Jax Productions is we actually created a full profile of our typical customer avatar. We created these 2 characters and we wrote out everything that we believe about them. We wrote out their demographics, their psychographics, their interests, their morning routines, their pet peeves, what keeps them up at night, so that we as a company can clearly look at that anytime we create an offer or a piece of content or an event or anything, so that we know exactly who we're speaking to. What's so great about having this customer avatar is you can go back to it at any time. When you're creating an offer, you can think, would Stacy like this? You know, I'd actually recommend that you name your customer avatars. In ours, we have a male and a female. We know exactly where they live, how many kids they have, if they're married, if they're single, how much money they make, how long they've been in business, what their pet peeves are, what keeps them up at night. And that way we can actually be really specific in our writing or in our copy, in our content. Have you ever read a piece of content or watched a video where you were like, oh my God, it's like they're in my head. It's like they know exactly what I've been through, even down to the point of what I ate for breakfast today. In a way that can be kind of creepy, but it can also make you feel really understood. And when you feel understood, when your audience feels understood, it's more likely to bring them to that purchasing decision with a lot less resistance. I'm telling you this from experience because I used to hate those customer avatar questions where you'd answer all those silly questions about like, what kind of magazines do they read? And as annoying as it might be to answer those questions, if you don't create your customer avatar and create those profiles, you may be putting a lot of work into launching to crickets. There was a point in my business where I was struggling and kept hitting a wall. I knew that the product and the service that we had was going to be so valuable, but I was speaking to the wrong people. It was as if I was teaching a university level to kindergarten students. You have to make sure that your messaging and who you're serving and what you're creating makes sense for the person that you're creating it for. By the way, this video was created just for you, and I'd love to invite you to subscribe because I'm putting out videos like this every single week to help you scale your business to 6, 7, we even have some 8-figure clients using our strategies. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can too. It is so important to identify your target audience so that every piece of content that you create is directly speaking to them. Let me tell you a story about a time that I came across a video from someone that I'd kind of known about. I followed her for a while and I knew her story. I knew that she was an entrepreneur. I knew that she was growing her business, but she had this video where she so eloquently explained her story, her struggles, what she was overcoming in her business, how she hit that turning point, she hit a wall and finally found the answer that helped her to scale to 7 figures in her business. And as I was watching this video, I was so captivated, almost emotional about it, because I had experienced the exact same thing. And I felt like this woman understood me. And when she got to the end of her video with that strong call to action where she said, hey, if you're in a similar place and you want the answers that I discovered, click the link below. I couldn't click fast enough. I couldn't get my credit card out fast enough. And ever since that experience, I have used that as my example of how I want my audience to feel when I'm creating content for them, that I want them to be as emotional as I was, to feel like this is the answer I have been searching for all along. So when you know your audience members that deeply, that you can speak so specifically to their pain points, you can speak so specifically to their dreams and their desires, they're going to feel so understood that it removes all the resistance to buying from you. When you know their pain points and you know their desires, you'll also know their objections. Anytime someone is offered or proposed a product or service that they can buy, usually the first thing that's going to come up for them are some objections. And usually they are vehicle, internal, or external based objections. Vehicle meaning an objection about the thing itself, whatever that product or service is. And they think, this won't work for me because, or I've tried something similar and it won't work for me because. And if you understand that, you'll be able to create the story that can help them overcome that. One of our biggest jobs as marketers is to create stories that are better stories than our audiences. And what I mean by that is stories that help them overcome the story in their head that is a false belief. The next objection is an internal objection, something about themselves that they feel like, well, I can't do this because. Maybe it's an insecurity. Maybe it's they feel that they don't have a skill to be able to overcome it. And again, that's where you can tell a story or show the social proof of someone maybe just like them, or maybe even you, that had the same insecurity or the same internal objection and how they overcame it, and this still ended up being the solution that they needed. The other one is an external objection. Usually that's something outside of themselves. Maybe they feel like they don't have the right support around them, whether it's family or team to help them implement or execute this. Maybe it's money, maybe it's time. If you understand this, you can create the story, or you can create more to the offer that will help them to overcome that objection. After hearing that, I'd love to hear from you. What are some objections that you hear from your audience, and how do you think that you can overcome them? What's a story that you can tell, or what's maybe something that you can add to your offer to help them to overcome it? Let me know in the comments below. When you know all this, you know that you can create the right products to serve their needs. With any of their objections, you can cater your messaging to overcome it, or you can add more. For example, someone might come to me and say, I can't do this because I'm not a techie person. I don't know how to code, or I don't know how to build a sales funnel. I could say, you know what? I have the thing for you. As a bonus, I'm also adding in this techie guide for the non-techie person. Or you don't know how to build a sales funnel? No problem. I actually have one that you can plug and play. It is one of my best converting sales funnels. You don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to code. It's all done for you. Do you think that that would be enough to help them to overcome that objection if I just said, no problem, I'm just going to give you mine? And then that leads them towards the sale and actually gives them the solution that they've been dreaming of. The thing to remember is that your work here is never done. As your audience is growing, as you are growing, as your skills are expanding, your messaging can always pivot to be able to speak to your audience in a clearer language with clearer messaging that really hits home and speaks to their desires. Personally, in my company, we are always updating our customer avatar. Maybe we have a new client that comes in and says to us a specific objection that we don't want to forget. We want to be able to answer that, because if one person has it, it's likely that other people will have it too. So we actually have a running document of all the questions we receive or all the objections that we hear, so that we can continuously be catering our message to serve them and to serve all the clients that fit within that customer avatar. Those are some of the most important strategies that I've used to build my business to multiple 7 figures, and my clients to 6, 7, even some clients making 8 figures using these strategies. I've actually created a blueprint for you. It's called the Infinite Cashflow Blueprint. You can get access to that for free at the link below.